Greetings, dear colleagues, dear candidate, and the public. Today, on January 20 of 2025, the advisory group of experts has met in full composition to conduct interview with the candidate for the position of the judge of the Constitutional Court of Ukraine, Oksana Soldatenko. All members of the AGE are present at the meeting. Mr. Yaroslav Romaniuk, Mr. Aleš Zalar, Mr. Vasil Shakun, member of the AGE, Madam Hanna Sukhotska, Secretary of the AGE, Madam Marin O'Connor, and I, Chair of the AGE, Oksana Vasilchenko. We also have deputy members of the AGE present at the meeting, Mr. Vitaly Makhinchuk, Mr. Volodymyr Kuzmenko, Mr. Richard Barrett, Mr. Marek Zubik. I would like to point out that we work in shelter, so in case of an air raid alarm, the interview will continue without interruption. I would also like to remind that the interview is being recorded and broadcast live at official resources of the AGE and at the website of the Constitutional Court of Ukraine. I am drawing attention of the AGE members and of the candidate regarding the use of sensitive data and restricted information. If it is necessary to discuss such issues, the broadcast will be suspended. We are ready to start. So I'm passing the floor to the Secretary of the AGE, Madam Marin O'Connor, for a brief introduction of the candidate and reminder of the interview rules. Madam Marin, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, to our candidate and all those who are watching. As our chair of the advisory group of experts has just told you, we will be interviewing the candidate Oksana Soldatenko this afternoon. And I want you all to realize that the opportunity to interview is a mandatory milestone in assessing the candidates for their compliance with the criterion of high moral qualities. The time allocated for this interview is no more than 1 hour, and the time limit for answering each question is no more than 3 minutes. As always, we ask each candidate to be concise and to provide answers that are clear, that are unambiguous, and to the point. At the conclusion of the interview, the candidate may make a brief final remark of no more than 5 minutes. I would also like to point out that in the course of processing materials for this candidate, the advisory group of experts has sent her questions to provide and asked for written explanations. So the candidate has had an opportunity to prepare and provide answers for this interview. So now here's the candidate for the position of judge of the Constitutional Court of Ukraine, whom the Selection Commission under the President of Ukraine has admitted to the competitive selection. She is a professor at the Department of Law at Poltava University of Economics and Trade and the author of over 200 scientific works. She has earned her Doctor of Law degree in 2010, defending her dissertation on the topic Legal Regulation of Expenditures for the Implementation of Citizens' Constitutional Right to Health Care in Ukraine and Central European countries. Moreover, I would like to remind you that Madam Oksana participated in the competitive selection process last year and underwent an interview with the advisory group of experts. Madam Oksana, is there anything that you wish to add to your introduction before we begin with the questioning?
Thank you. I have nothing to add.
Okay, very well. I'm going to ask you the first question. In 2024, as I mentioned, you participated in the selection process for the position of judge of the Constitutional Court of Ukraine. And we, the advisory group of experts, evaluated your compliance with the criterion of high moral character for the purposes of selecting the candidates on a competitive basis. Please explain your motivation for continuing to participate in the selection process under a different appointing authority.
Thank you for your question. My motivation has not changed. It is reflected both in my first motivation letter and in my second motivation letter, and it is based on my aspiration to diligently defend values of democracy, human rights and freedoms, to ensure the rule of law in Ukraine. For the first time, I did not have time to submit my documents under the quota of the president due to family circumstances. I did not have time to submit my documents on time. That's why I tried my luck under the quota of the Congress of Judges of Ukraine, and I'm grateful for that invaluable experience that I gained during the previous competition.
Okay. Keeping in mind your previous competition, has there been any changes in your financial status during 2024? If so, what changes specifically?
No, in my financial situation, there were no particular changes apart from the decrease in the number of savings which I had as of the end of 2023, which were reflected in the declaration, because later on in 2024 the repair of the car was very expensive for me, and I also bought Apple equipment for my son, so the amount of savings will be lower, and if necessary to declare these funds for the declaration for 2024. And out of non-financial issues, then the LLC, where I'm the co-founder together with my husband, is now being liquidated. In 2024, it was still in the functioning state. Thank you.
And that represents the only change in your status, what you've mentioned.
Yes.
Great. Thank you very much. Mr. Romanek?
Дозвольте мені.
Let me ask some questions, Oksana. Since 2014, you have had the right of ownership for non-residential premises with an area of 144 square meters in Irpin. Can you please tell us how is it being used? Since 2016, dear Yaroslav, I obtained it into private ownership in 2016, even though it was investment agreement concluded back in 2012. Just this building was not commissioned for a long period of time. I am renting out these premises. Now a barber shop is located there. Do you receive rent payment? Yes. Do you declare it? Do you pay taxes? Yes, of course. I am registered as a private entrepreneur under the second group of the simplified taxation system. Okay, clear. According to your declaration for 2022, in your ownership since December of 2022, you had a residential house with an area of 40 square meters in Alexandria and a land plot under this house with an area of 600 square meters. Can you please tell us what is the legal ground for acquisition of this house and land plot into ownership? That is inheritance from my aunt, who died and left it for me to inherit. You inherited it in December of 2022, and you reflected that in your declaration. But in the declaration for 2023, these objects are no longer there. Did you sell them? Yes, I sold both the house and the land plot. Can you specify the value? The land plot cost 50,000 hryvnias and the house cost 150,000 hryvnias. What was the need? What was the reason for this price of sale? And why did you need to sell it? The need was that I did not need it. This house, as it is far away. It is Kirovograd region, rural area. That yes, it is a district center, but that is 400 kilometers away. And in order to have a house in a proper condition, it should be looked after. And I didn't have this opportunity to be there. And this way, I had to sell it. And the land plot cost 50,000 hryvnias, and what about the house? 150,000. There is monetary evaluation that was provided by the notary during conclusion of these agreements, but the sale price is higher than that estimated value. So you are naming the real sale price, yes, for which I sold it. That's about $5,000, right?
Yes, approximately so. And whom to have you sold your? Who bought it? A teacher. she bought this house for her daughter, who was coming back from abroad with the children who left escaping from war during martial law time. It's not a related person. It is just somebody I I found here through OLX purchasing platform. That area of Alexandria under the name Perimo is not very good one for, and the prices were low at the time. Now the prices are higher because there are many IDPs who need housing. That is why I sold it at that time at that price. I have no more questions. Dear colleagues, any more questions to the candidate? No questions. Oksana Volodymyrna, you may state your conclusive statement in not longer than 5 minutes. Dear members of AG, dear members, dear candidates, participants of the two competitions now taking place, I wish all of us these competitions to succeed and that the most distinguished and meriting candidates would be selected. For that Constitutional Court of Ukraine would be plenipotentiary, and that all the citizens of Ukraine would know they may protect their freedoms and rights totally without having to address to EC, European Court for Human Rights. Thank you for your answers, dear colleagues, dear public. This is the interview with the candidate for the position of the judge of Constitutional Court of